Hello students, coming to Java programming course, second BTech, semester 2, academic year 2021, R19 JNTK Kakinada regulation. Coming to unit 2, and we know that there are two chapters in this unit 2 of Java programming course. Chapter 1, classes and objects, and chapter 2, methods. And today we are going to discuss the topics related to methods chapter in unit 2. The overloaded methods, overloaded constructor methods in class objects as parameters in methods of a Java class. Coming to here, in Java, it is possible to define two or more methods within the same class that share same name. Here, the overloaded or overloading concept, you already experienced with this concept in the semester 1 object oriented programming through C++. There you already seen this overloading concept for methods, nothing but functions defined in any class. The same here also, the object oriented programming language for Java. This overloaded feature is added for methods defining in Java class. And overloading means defining two or more methods in a class of a Java program. That two or more methods share the same name. That it means we are defining two or more methods with same name in the class scope. But by using or by making this type of way for doing this overloading, naming collision will automatically occur when we are invoking the methods by calling through their names. But the compiler identifies when we invoke these overloaded methods by using the objects of the classes, and these method overloading concept gives some differentiation among them about their parameter declarations. So here, overloading methods in Java, these methods share the same name, but their parameter declaration for those methods are different. So then the compiler identifies which method we are invoking through the object of the class. And when this is the case here, that is nothing but methods sharing the same name, and as long as their parameter declarations are different, and we call those methods are said to be overloaded. And the process is referred to as method overloading. Method overloading. Got it? And method overloading is one of the ways that Java implements polymorphism. So we already know that polymorphism is one of the object-oriented programming principle, one of the most important thing. By achieving this polymorphism, we can do some dramatic changes in designing of programs. So this is the one of the way, that is method overloading, is to achieve polymorphism concept in object-oriented programming. And we'll see some important things about method overloading. And coming to here, method overloading, changing number of parameters is the one constraint to be differentiate them. We already learned that one. And changing data types of parameters. So these two help us to differentiate the methods having the same, even they are having same name. Next one. And these are some do's and don'ts for here. For example, here the function name is, method name is sum, here also sum. And while doing this type of thing, defining same name with empty parameters, it doesn't allow, and it's not the concept called overloading concept. So both are empty parameter list and same definition, same name sharing, it's not possible here. Next one, function name same and parameter list same and count of members parameters also same. Here also doing the same, it's not allowed. And like this, another way of doing that's not here, both are same in number of different type parameters but same order. So here also the same thing, and this is not the way of doing method overloading, and it gives compile error. And whereas coming to here, those function name is sum3, here also function name is sum3, same number of different data types, same number, same number of parameters, here also number of parameters 2, here also number of parameters 2, but the type, the parameters having here int and float, but here int and int. So this way you can overload method. That it means the same function name you can use here. This is a valid method overloading. And you can also see this one, another example, sum4 and parameter list 2 and same type of float parameters type. Here also another function sharing the same name sum4, but here all our parameters are float, but the number of count parameters are 3 and here it is 2. So there is some different number of parameter used in the definition of function method. So it is also allowed in method overloading. So this is called overloading the method. And here sum5 int and string, and here sum5 sharing the same, but two parameter list, here also two parameter list, but the order of these using parameter list is different. First parameter as string and second as int, like that. Next one, sum6, here empty parameter list, here is one parameter list, as it is quite naturally different. So automatically these are the way of type using overloaded method. Next one. Coming to one simple type of example we are seeing here, addition. So left side, this one is without method overloading, and right side green indication that is with method overloading. So here it is having add to some parameter list here without method overloading. So add to not allowed, that's why we have taken add 3, and add 4 here. It is also, see, if you observe these three different addition functions, function name is completely different. There itself it's saying that it is not method overloading. And coming to the parameter list here also, 2 values, 3 values, and 4 different parameters and adding those values and returning by each method here. So understood. This is generally we may occur a situation that defining same type of addition methods with some values to be added and written, and function name should not be same here. Whenever you give the function name same as not in a object oriented type languages, definitely the compiler gives an error. But whereas coming to object oriented programming languages, and there this operator or the method overloading is allowed, then see how it is going to be magic for the same problem. So here with method overloading, so take the same type of methods defined here without method overloading, the same methods we have taken here with same name they are sharing here, same method name sharing here by each method and doing different things. And even though these methods are sharing same name, but the parameter list and count and type are completely different to each other. Though it is enough for the compiler to identify which method was invoked in the main method of the class through the objects of the class. Right? Understood? Overloading methods. Shall we go for a real-time example here? Coming to overload demo. So here in this class, I have different methods defined with same name sharing. Here test is my method name and the type of this test method is void and parameter list is empty here, empty parameter list. Then the scope of this method and the function body contains this is a method with no parameters. Next one, I'm going to overload this test method by taking one integer parameter for the method definition. For this here, void test, here it is one parameter here and that parameter value when it receives, when the caller calling this function and it simply takes as parameter value as an integer and it displays on the string on the output string, this one. So this is as it is a valid overloaded concept for methods. Once again check it, is it valid for method overloading of the test method? Yes. Now coming to, I'm not stopping here, I'm going to overload again and again. So I'm overloading test method for two integer parameters here. So void test, and here I'm taking two parameter list, two parameters here, two parameters, integer A, integer B. In the previous one, no parameter list is one method defined with same name test. Here it is one method defined with one parameter. And here I'm trying to define one test method with two parameters. And these two parameters are need to be passed to this method when we are invoking this method. And the two parameters are accepted by this method when it is going to be invoked, then and it accepts and displays using this statement on the screen. Next one, I am going to take this overload concept once again for a double parameter. Double is a type of a parameter here and here. So the type of method is double. Until now we defined this overloaded methods and all these type methods are return types are void. But here this type overload method type test return type is double. Here itself is having difference. compared with other test methods, even though same name having, the written type of method different and parameter list of a method is different and number of parameters of a method is different. Like the way the compiler identifies these methods as the applied overloaded concept, even though they are sharing same method name. And it simply displays that double value of this method and returns the square of that value. So this is the behavior of this method overloaded as test method. Understood? These are the four different types of methods have defined in overloaded demo class, and these methods are defined with same name and following the rules and regulations of overloading concept of object oriented programming. Next one, coming to the main method or main class, the class overload here, and in this main function I have defined created one object for the previous class called overload demo previous class, where I defined these four types of methods. And coming to here, this is object of that overload demo class, and I have created new operator for creating object and allocating memory for this, right? And coming to one variable called result of type double to hold the return value of this method, last method defined in the previous class, and this method contains return. And in the previous video, we seen this concept clearly, how to define create a return statement for a method. And coming to here, to hold that return value, we need a double variable here. Now coming to call all versions of test methods created in the overload demo class. So here I have created four methods: test method with no parameters, test method with one parameter, test method with two integer parameters, test method with one parameter of type double. So coming to here, first method I am calling through the object of this demo overload demo class. OB is an object here. How to invoke the method of a class, and we know this concept from classes and objects concept, and object calls these methods using dot operator. Object name, this OB is an object name followed by dot operator followed by method name and argument list or parameter list. So this is a valid statement for invoking the method of class overload demo with name called test. So ob.test, this method invokes this test method, and what we have done, this body of this test method is simply displaying no parameters here. So coming to here, this function method call displays on the screen. This is the output generated by this program. So what it displaying on the screen? No parameters here. So that is the statement. Then execute this function method calling. Coming to the next method type is test with one integer parameter value. So ob.test of 10. So it's simply what this method, green color indication here, this one. What this method doing here? So it's taking one parameter when it is called, and it's simply displaying again that value received by this test method. And coming to here, ob.test of 10, it's simply displaying on the screen that received value when it was invoked. And the same next type of method here, ob.test of two integer parameter values. Two integer parameter values, this method here, and it also displaying the same, the two values here. So this displays same as those AB values as 10 and 20. And next one, the last method, overloaded method, is test method with one double value. So this is double value and passed as a parameter, single parameter for this test method as it is valid. Then the function or a method of a class invoked through this object, and what we have done in structure here. So it's simply displaying the value of that double value and returns the square of that value by multiplying itself, right? So when it is written this square of that value, so one variable here called result of type double, it receives the return value of this method, right? So simply it display on the screen. First it displays the value, this one, and it returns the value of double square of this double value, and that's we are going to display as using this system.out.println result of ob.test of this one, and this result displays the value the square of that 1 to 123.25. So this is the value displayed on the screen, right? So here this test is overloaded 4 times, overloaded 4 times. Got it? Next one, overloaded constructor methods. Yeah, actually this overloaded constructor methods concept was already covered in the previous topics. Once again, we just remind a recap of this one only in one slide, and overloading constructor method. And I'm reminding you that constructor is also a special type of method of defined in class. Special type of method. It is also a method. So, so method type constructor. So it can also be overloaded. So, but we use this constructor for initializing an object of a class and create memory. This constructor automatically call when an object of particular class is going to be created. So we know everything about this constructors of a class, and now we are saying this constructor as a special method of a class, and coming to the overloading concept, and this constructor methods also possible to overload. Then see how it is going to be achieved. Coming to the class box class example, and these are the instance variables of a box for getting the data of a box measures with height and depth. And here one constructor defined uh, for 3 different values of this box. And this constructor initializes the instance variables of the class through the values it received when an object of this class is created. And that values are assigned or initialized with this instance variables of the class. Instance variables of the class. Got it? This is the behavior of constructor defined here. The constructor name is same as class name, and the parameter list of this constructor is 3, and that parameter list of values are initializing these instance variables with height and depth of a class. Now coming to another type of constructor defined here, it is the same constructor name same as here the previous one, box and box, but here it is also considered as a method in class. And coming to here, the parameter list of this constructor is empty, null parameter list. So in this case, when we are defining an object and calling this default constructor, this what is type of this constructor is with no dimension specified for a box and no parameters passed to this constructor, then automatically 0 is initialized to all the variables of instance variables of this class. 0. Okay, got it? So this is the behavior of this default constructor. Here it is 1, parameterized constructor with three values, constructor with three parameters. Understood? And now coming to another constructor I have defined here using the concept called constructor overloading. So the same name allowed here, and the type of parameter list used for this constructor is should be different to this constructor parameter list and this constructor parameter list. Then only method or constructor overloading allowed here. So here already three parameter list given. Here is no parameters. So here if you observe here, this constructor is defined with one parameter and the parameter type is double here, and only one value is given as a parameter for this constructor. When we are creating a box object with one value, and this constructor will automatically call for creating object of this box class. And here that value is initialized to this instance variables as this default did. The same one value is copied into all instance variables of this class. And one method, it is not a constructor, it is a method. So this method calculates the volume of the box by multiplying these values width, height and depth, right? So this method is invoked when we object of this class invoke this method. It simply returns the box volume by taking the different type of helps of these constructors, right? So this way we can overload constructor methods of a class also. Next one, class objects as parameters in methods. So here generally a method can take parameters, empty parameters, one or many number of parameters are possible to pass as an arguments to method definitions. And when we invoke these methods, we follow the list of values to be passed as based on the definition and parameters given for this method definitions. And here it is the different case. We are giving that parameters or mentioning the parameters to a method and not the values or any type of data. We are simply passing that parameters of objects of class, objects of the class. So here this concept is class object. We are giving mentioning that parameter for the methods in the class. As it is allowed and it is possible, and see here, so far we have only been using simple types of parameters, two methods. That it means simple types means primitive types, integer, float, double, long, like. But however, it is both correct and common to pass objects to methods as parameters, as arguments. So for that one, consider a simple short program to understand the method declaration or a method definition taking class object as a parameter. So here class test and two instance variables AB of type integer, and this test name and constructor, it is a constructor here. This one is a constructor because the name of this method is same as class name, so it is automatically it was a constructor. And here it constructor is parameterized constructor, and two parameters are mentioned for this constructor, and these two parameter values are used to initialize these class instance variables A and B, right? Got it? The behavior of this constructor is clear. Next one, return true if object is equal to the invoking object. So this is the thing we are going to with this method called equals. This is a method here The method name is equals, and it is going to be test by taking object as a parameter of the class, and that object values same as the instance variables of the class, and it checks those values and gives a return value as boolean value. And what is the return type of this method is boolean, and this boolean nothing but two types of values may be possible for this boolean type data. Simply it returns if those object of a class values and class instance variable values are same, then it simply returns true, otherwise this method returns false. Got it? This is the thing we are going to apply by invoking this equals method of a class. And this is the class behavior. So this class behavior nothing but in this test class we have two instance variables AB, one constructor taking two parameters for this constructor. When you are going to create an object of test class, this constructor will call with two values, and those two values are initialized, use it to initialize these instance variables A and B. And there is a method defined in this test class, and that method taking that class object as a parameter, and usually object of a class contains the instance variables, and that object variables A and B comparing with the class instance variables AB, then both are equal, it simply returns true, otherwise it returns false. And check this behavior by creating object in main class. So coming to the main class, passing object in main method. So I have created two objects, oh no, three objects. Object 1, object 2, object 3. So all of you please listen here, make a concentration on what I'm saying and trace the program and observe what actually happening in this logic of the program. Coming to here, test object 1 using new operator. So we need to call constructor here, and the constructor we defined in our class is two parameter value constructor. So I have passed two values 100 and 22 for this constructor. So generally what the memory is created for this object is some part of memory is created, and in this memory we have two values a and b. So that a value contains, what is the value we have given, 100, and what b of this object ob1 contains 22. For every object, these instance variables create separate memory, right? So what is the object name here? What is the memory reference for this memory is object 1. So this is the thing happened in the memory when the compiler executes this statement. Then coming to this statement, when this statement executes, same some part of memory is created in the memory. Some part of memory is created in the memory. So same memory will create for two variables A and B. And what is the object reference for this memory is OB2, right? And what values we have passed here for initializing the instance variables of this class through this object OB2 is same 100, 100 and 22 and 22, right? Got it? So this is the way you can. What about this one, third object declaration here? What happens when this statement executes? Same some part of memory is created, right? And memory locations for A. What this object also contains, what the test class instance variables have, the same instance variables this object also contains. That is A, A and B, right? What is the values we have passed here is -1, -1. So what this A contains in this object is -1 and B contains object -1. So these are the reflections in memory when these three statements executed. So these three objects are created with this instance variables of the class like this. And coming to see the magic here, I am displaying the written information when I am calling this equals method with object 1 ob1 dot equals. I'm passing ob2 as a parameter, and we know that this equals method expects one object of class, same class, as a parameter. And here what happening here, this object ob2 nothing but here ob2 values are ab like this, and this method is called by ob1. So coming to here, this test O, here what mean of this O means ob2, this O means ob2, right? And which object called this method ob1, ob1. So ob1 called this method and ob2 passed as an object. So ob1 object having already ab values, that here this a belongs to this ob1, this b belongs to ob2, ob1, and o dot a belongs to ob2, and o dot b belongs to instance variable belongs to this ob2 object. And we are comparing these values ob1 and ob2 like this, and both are equal, and we are using here both are equal, then it returns true, otherwise it simply returns false. Got it? The same way here, the reflection of this function invocation through one object passing another object as a parameter, it simply returns true on the output screen. And whereas, why? Because this ob1 contains a value 100 and b value 22, and here also ob2 contains a instance variable 100, b instance variable 22. Both are equal, both are same. That's why it returns true. And what about this statement? ob1 dot equals ob3. That it means object 3 as a parameter and ob1 calling this equals method. So both object instance variables are comparing here. So what this ob1 contains? So this is 122 and this ob3 contains -1 -1. So this reflection is completely false. It's simply written false on the screen. Right? Got it? So this way we can achieve this concept called object as a parameter to the method, and we learn the different type of designing programs for this Java classes, right? These are the textbooks and references and e-resources we used to collect the content of this video. Thank you.